Spoilers ahead, watch out and take care. The movie begins with Gazelle walking into a little corner store in Mexico, and she looks like she's trying to get away from someone. While she waits for the clerk to get her things, he turns to her and asks her in a demonic voice, "Truth or dare?" She tells him that she doesn't want to play anymore, but before too long, Gazelle grabs lighter fluid off the counter and sets another woman on fire in the store. She tells her that she doesn't have a choice, and the woman burns to death outside. Then we cut to Olivia and Marcus as Marcus tries to convince her to come on a trip with her for their last spring break. Olivia tries to explain that she has things to do for the Habitat for Humanity, but Marquez reveals that she unsigned her up for her habitat. Soon, other friends come in and tell her that they'll help her with her habitat building for 2 weeks if she agrees to come with them. Every horror movie based during spring break that takes a girl away from her community service project always ends in disaster. I'm pretty sure that if someone says that they've got some community project to do, I'm just going to leave them to it. After a mandatory international spring break montage, we see that everyone is having a great time, and this was exactly what Olivia needed to get a break. Eventually, they go to a sort of tiki bar party, and things get hot and heavy for some of the friends. Eventually, Olivia and Lucas end up alone while the others dance, and she sees that Marcus is actually dancing on another boy instead of Lucas. When she confronts her, Marquis tries to explain that she's just drunk, and they come back to the table. Olivia is that best friend that everyone wishes they had but never deserves. She's literally a guardian for a relationship that she secretly wishes would fail, but she'll never say that out loud. Suddenly, another friend of Olivia's, Ronnie, shows up at the bar as she gets another drink, and he immediately starts hitting on her from the other side of the bar. Another man speaks up and tries to defend her honor. Olivia finally gets Ronnie to leave, and she introduces herself to the stranger. After introductions, Carter and Olivia drink the night away and talk. Suddenly, the other friends show up and hope that there is an all-night bar somewhere in town. Sure enough, Carter seems to know a place that they can go to. When the group hikes to a place that's fenced off, they all sneak through a hole in the fence, and they end up heading inside of an old Spanish mission. Carter hands out beers that are kept in a cooler, and Olivia wanders and explores the remains that are left behind. There are a lot of places that I would follow a good friend or girlfriend into, but an abandoned Spanish mission is not one of those places, especially if it's full of all pictures and a prepackaged cooler. After everyone gathers in the main room, Carter suggests a game of Truth or Dare, and Olivia takes a quick snapshot of the entire group while they play Truth or Dare. Carter seems to admire something about Olivia, but the fun stops when Tyson asks Marquis if she knows that Olivia is in love with Lucas. Suddenly, someone asks Carter what his intentions are with Olivia, and the truth finally comes out. Carter admits that he used her to trick all of her friends into coming there to play the game he needed to pass the curse on to people he didn't know, and he gets up to leave. Olivia catches up to him, and he promises her that the game is real. She has to tell the truth and do the dares, or she dies. When she turns back to the group, everyone is gone. When they pop up behind her, their faces seem to be morphed, but all of them end up still being in their seats. Okay, we all saw that coming. When they get back to school, everyone tries to make amends, but it doesn't matter. In the end, Olivia starts to notice that someone is writing Truth or Dare all over random items, and she starts to wonder who is behind all of it. While Olivia is in her room, Marquis barges in with a fresh drink, and she tries to patch things up from when she heard that Olivia was in love with her boyfriend. Later, Olivia starts to see Truth or Dare carved into her car, but no one else can see it besides her. She heads to the library to find Marquis, but things get weirder from here. Hey Olivia. Heck no. When faces start morphing like that, it's time to get out of there. At least he was smart enough to pick Truth. What sucks is that she screams the answer out loud, which is that Marquis is constantly cheating on Lucas. Oh. Who else is within earshot? Half of the school and Lucas and Marquis. Well, that bridge is burned again. Later, Ronnie gets asked next, and he picks Dare. The woman dares him to show the bar his junk, and after he decides to back out, something seems to take over his body, and he ends up breaking his neck on the pool table. Back at the dorm, Olivia tries to explain what happened to her to the other friends, but no one seems to believe her. Suddenly, they all get a message that shows him a video of Ronnie dying in the bar. Olivia concludes that this is the game, but absolutely no one believes her. Lucas shows up to gather his things, and after he makes it outside, he starts to hear someone calling his name. Even he starts to notice Truth or Dare written on the wall as he walks. He blows it off, but he can't ignore it when the question is etched into his forearm. I'd start believing it too. If some Harry Potter thing happened to me, He was smart enough to pick truth. And of course, he has to say what he truly feels for Olivia is the game-playing matchmaker. Lucas and Olivia try to convince the rest of the group, but Tyson and Marcus are hardcore doubters. Soon, Marquez gets a text from an unknown number asking her truth or dare, and she says dare. It dares her to break Olivia's hand, and Olivia is adamant that she has to follow through. Marquis thinks Olivia is crazy at first, but eventually she does it. Lucas and Brad take Olivia to the hospital, and it turns out to be Brad's, her next. While he's at the vending machine to top off the creepy factor Brad's possessed, ask her. Turns out to be a creepy dead guy that got reanimated. That would scare me for life. When it isn't a zombie movie and bodies come back to life, it's time to finish things. The game makes Brad come out to his father, and he actually feels pretty good about things when he's done. Next is Tyson, and he's about to have a med school interview. They try to get a hold of him before he goes in, but he ignores them and goes ahead with the interview. During it, the interviewer asks him truth or dare. He chooses truth, and the woman asks him how long he's been forging prescriptions. He lies, of course, and the spirit possesses him and makes him stab himself in the eye and slam his head against the wall. The friends gather back at the dorm, and they realize that Penelope is the next one. Marquis also tells him to find Carter, but they actually find the footage of Gazelle completing her there. There should be no doubt in anyone's mind now, and I think it's time to get some real answers. Does it end when they all answer? Or does it keep going until the game gets bored of them? Either way, Penelope is next, and she tries to pick truth. The game decides to make its own rules and tells her that that's not how the game is played. I'm sorry, but it's literally in the name of the game. Otherwise, just pop up and say, hey, it's your friendly neighborhood evil spirit. Time for a dare. The friends end up finding Penelope doing her dare outside, and she has to walk the edge of the roof as she finishes her bottle of liquor. Lucas heads inside to try and get to her, and Brad and Marquis grab a couch cushion to pat her fall in case she comes tumbling down. Penelope keeps walking and actually finishes her dare, but she still falls thanks to being drunk as a skunk. The friends end up saving her, and they get a message from Gazelle about a place for them to meet. When they met, Gazelle starts to explain that they actually played it as truth than a dare. And when she's done explaining everything, she reveals that her dare is to kill Olivia. She pulls a gun out and shoots, but Penelope sacrifices herself instead. Since Gazelle doesn't finish her dare, the spirit makes her kill herself. Soon, the friends are at the police station, and Olivia tries to explain things in a manner that doesn't make her sound crazy. And they're all released for the time being. When they head back to the dorm, they try to find out some stuff about the mission where the game started. When Olivia goes to get a charger for her laptop, she finds a homeless man upstairs that asks her truth or dare. I think this game has a personal vendetta for breaking Olivia and Marquis' friendship. The game is definitely playing Cupid with Olivia because her dare is to sleep with Lucas. Oh, no. How terrible. She would just pick dare every time if that's what she gets. In the middle of freaky time, Lucas picks truth, and he lets Olivia know that he likes her, but he's in love with Marquis. Next, Marquis sits at a pizza joint, and she watches a video of her dead father before it asks her truth or dare. Next, she picks truth, and Lucas and Olivia head back to Mexico to find one of the remaining survivors of the mission. When they get to Ina's house, they ask the granddaughter for a few minutes with her, and Olivia tells her to explain that they played the game in the mission. It turns out that she has taken a vow of silence, but she has written a response for them. It turns out that she was one of the women that resided at the mission, and the priest that lived there used to inflict pain for his own pleasure. Eventually, a girl explained that she knew how to summon demons to play with them and protect them. So that's how the game was started. She gives them the spell that must be chanced at and the ingredients to seal the demon away again. Out of all the horror movies I've seen, there's always a moment like this where they find someone that could potentially help them and knows all about the evil. But and this is by far the most helpful of all of them, she literally tells him the entire backstory, hands over the spell, and gives them the ingredients to fix everything. Way to go in this. Oh, but she's the one that initially summoned the demon years ago, so she loses points for that. Though now that they know that whoever broke the pot in the first place is the one that has to fix this again, they head back to tell Brad what they've learned, and Olivia tries to get in touch with Marquis. Meanwhile, Brad has a touching moment with his father, but he has given his dare. He has to steal his father's gun and make him beg for his life. After hugging his father, Brad does just that. He tries to make it really easy for his father, but his father just refuses to beg. Soon, his father's partner shows up and shoots Brad in the back. Brad is rushed to the hospital and all the remaining friends gathered there to mourn him. Now that Marquis is present, Olivia gets dared to tell Marcus her deepest secret. Olivia sits her down and tells her the truth about her father the night that he killed himself. It turns out that Olivia drank with Marquis' father, and he tried to get frisky with Olivia. She in turn tells him that Marquez would be better off if he were dead, and within a bit, he kills himself. I feel like Mark and Olivia should just stop trying to mend the bridge here. The second they get things better, the game makes some mortal enemies again. Soon, Olivia is taken to be interrogated, and she finds out that Carter is actually named Sam. That's the name that Gazelle said trashed the mission in the first place. And Olivia knows that he's the one that has to set things right with the spell. She gets the address from the police report and leaves to get him. Olivia tells Lucas the news, and the two of them head out to get him. Meanwhile, Marquis is back at the apartment, and she goes through a box of old memories that has the gun her father killed himself with. As Olivia and Lucas pull up to the house, Olivia calls out to Marquis, but she finds her on the bed with a gun pointed to her head. It's only after telling her that she knows where Sam is that she decides to put the gun down. The three of them head to Sam's apartment, and they can convince Sam that there is a way to end the game. I mean, it takes Olivia pulling a gun on him to convince him to come with them, but they still manage to convince him. They break back into the mission and they start the spell. While holding Sam at gunpoint, they make him read the words, but the mission starts to shake and rumble. In the middle of him reading the spell, Lucas gets his dare. The game wants him to choose between killing Marquis or Olivia, so he decides to try and get away from them. Marquis chases after him, while Olivia has Sam finished reading. Then she makes him pick up a knife Lucas left him, and she tells him that he has to cut out his tongue and put it in the jar. Meanwhile, Lucas tries to get away, but the spirit takes this as his way to refuse the dare. He goes back to stop Sam, and he slices his own throat in the process. Now it's just Marquis and Olivia. Great. The two friends with the strangest friendship are the ones left to finish this. Sure enough, Marquis gets to dare to shoot Olivia. But when she refuses, Olivia gets to speak with the demon. Olivia tries to pull some sneak stuff here by pulling the demon into the game, but it obviously doesn't work. So, Olivia does the only other reasonable option. She literally brings the entire world into the game. She videos herself explaining the rules, and she asks everyone a simple question. I'm so sorry, but I have to ask you truth or dare. Well, at least she survives. The end. Thank you for watching. Subscribe if you'd like to see more videos update. Like, share and turn on notification to help the channel.